We are here, guys. Look at this. It's my first time here, so I'm actually quite impressed at the amount of motorcycles. When I went to Barber Motorsports, there were not this many motorcycles in the parking lot, so seeing this, it's actually pretty impressive. So there's the memorial for Dale. He was the founder. Today I am bringing you to Wheels Through Time Museum. They have a huge selection of vintage. The best part about this museum, pretty much everything runs. So let's go ahead and just go ahead and show you around. So this is a 1909 Reading Standard Bore Tracer. I mean, look at the level of detail. What I love about these vintage motorcycles is the level of craftsmanship. I mean, look at that. Brass fittings. Look at that motor. It's unbelievable. Then look at this one over here. This is probably one of my favorite ones, just because it's basically a bicycle outfitted with a motor, and then they went ahead and put this small wheel in the back. Beautiful Indian. Just like any old motorcycle, they all have their leaks. This right here is one of the first 4-cylinder engines. This is a police bike. So you can see it's going to be almost like what you have today. I don't want to say he's going to be an inline 4, because he's not, because you can see right here each head is going to be individual, but very early model Indian police motorcycle. This is going to be a 1913 Henderson. Here we have a vintage race car.
Welcome everybody.
I would love to see one of these motorcycles up and going. They say usually if you ask, if they have time, they'll go ahead and turn them on for you, but it's very busy. And today is the weekend before Memorial Day, so there's a lot of people here. Look at this beautiful knucklehead. Not only is it a knucklehead, this is going to be a shaft drive knucklehead. This looks original, but it's not. This is going to be a tribute bike, but it looks beautiful. Here they have a small, basically just like a little display where you could go ahead and record, not record, but you could see the motorcycles, the years and everything else. 1913 61 cubic inch twin Harley Davidson. Beautiful.
I'm telling you, ain't nothing ugly in here at all.
Nope.
No matter how old it is and what kind of condition it's in, this place is fantastic, isn't it?
Beautiful.
A lot of history. If these things could talk.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Are those over there from the wartime?
The stories. I mean, just
unbelievable. And the best part, pretty much all of them run. So.
he used to have one starting a while. He had started one up a while ago.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that one. A lot of time, money, and effort put into this place.
Yes.
Well, you heard the guy that just started one not long ago, so I missed that one. Hopefully they'll do another one.
On the moment that engine starts up, the next 26 revolutions will actually start the rewind the spring. It was a mechanical starter of 1916.
You can see this belt here. This is not going to be rubber like your new bikes. This will be a leather strap that was made specifically for these motorcycles.
Byron Carter was killed when he tried to start a Cadillac. Byron Carter would say to the lady, turn on the ignition, and she turns on the ignition. As he's cranking the car, she had forgot to retard the spark. It misfired, it came back, hit him in the jaw.
1916 Trub. This is one of America's rarest bikes.
You'll see he would die of gangrene. Henry Leland at Cadillac was absolutely beside himself, and he would be inspired to get one of his engineers, a fellow called Charles Kettering from Davidson.
This area is dedicated to basically hill climb. You're going to see the chains on the back of these tires. This was very popular back in the 40s. You can see all these motorcycles here. They're going to have chains in the back. That was going to give them more traction when they were going uphill, and that was usually sandy, rocky terrain. They have a small video here. Look at this one, 1928 Indian. This is a 50 horsepower machine, 1928. I have to say, look at the exhaust, literally just cut right there. Look at the other exhaust from the other head, which is going to be right there, cut as well. This was a 45 cubic inch, 737cc engine. More Indians. This is when Indian was still prevalent. Just like with everything else, with more money, later years, progression in technology, look at the machines that they built. Extended frame to give it more, to give it a better opportunity not to be able to flip over like the earlier ones. But look at all this. Here's, if you want, you can. They give you the chance to spin it over. It shows you the way it works inside. How's it going, man? Nothing like creativity and ingenuity. Look at these motorcycles here. Look at the tank of that one.
Very big range, and it's yes, very popular. Between the Depression and the war, a lot of these companies, those that survived the Depression, because they couldn't sell motorcycles because everything was sports war ethic. They just basically went out of business, or they changed what they were making to something else. The company still exists, but they stopped making motorcycles. Eagle's an example of that. And it's a very modern motorcycle. In those days, all these parts tanks are handmade.
If you are a gearhead, if you're into motorcycles, my God, I think I have to say, just from being here now for over an hour, I have to say that I actually like this a lot better than Barber Motorsports, and that's saying a lot. Barber has a huge selection, massive, I mean, massive. It's gonna be way more than this, but I just love all this vintage. .1938 4-cylinder Indian. It's like the one we saw earlier over there. Here you have the forehead. You're gonna see the spark plugs in each one individually.
Yeah, great.
I mean, look at that. Even the dolly car is vintage. Look at that dolly car. Oh my God. Look at this Indian tanks over here. Man, if this tank could talk, look at the other side over here. Wow, incredible. Man, look at this. Just craftsmanship, beautiful. I'm not sure if this is a cut fender or not. I'm not really sure. I'm not very familiar with Harleys, but it looks pretty clever. Look at this. This looks like just like a chopped up version to make more of a dual sport. Production. That's a 1940s enduro racer. Basically just a custom version. Dale. Look at this. Unbelievable. I mean, just parts on parts, cylinder heads, top ends. I'm not sure what that is up there. That might be for a hydroplane, but I'm not sure. I really love, if you're into vintage, you have to love those porcelain signs. I mean, those are literally true Americana right there, especially companies like Exo, Texaco. I mean, look at this one. And you can tell that they're gonna be porcelain. Actually, this is wood, right? Yep, this one is a wood one, so we can't do it here. But you're gonna be able to hear. It has that very like a thick thud to it. It's not gonna be like a. It's not gonna be like that. I can't even explain it. It's gonna be like a very thick sound when you do it. Let me save this one over here. Yep, this one is porcelain. So see how it has like that thick resound. Here where they have all the exhibit maintenance, You see how they have it? Pretty much tells you everything that you can and cannot do here. Like they say, all their motorcycles here, all you gotta do is just pour some gas and they'll go ahead and crank over. But unbelievable. I have never seen one of these.
Here's a beauty.
I would like to see if they have, during the pandemic, I saw that they had they found a 1940s Indian engine on a crate. So it will be interesting to see if they still have them. Look at all these ones here.
This is the whole sidecar road flexes.
Here, more parts. Another motorcycle. This is where they pretty much keep working their motorcycles on top of the other side. I love seeing those all right there. I don't know if you're able to get it on the camera, but they have like those old box, that old boxing from when these parts were made. They have a few pistons right there. These are flatheads over here. I have to say, Harley killed it with the design. I mean, I just love the design. Look at the heads. I love the tank shape. I mean, look at the actual pinstriping on that tank. This is a 1946. Man, this is beautiful. Talk about windshield. I mean, this has nothing on today's bikes. Wow. Look at that. Even covers over here. So you could be covered from the rain. That's actually pretty ingenious. Look at these saddlebags here. And here you have the inside of an engine diagram. So you will definitely see a lot of random stuff that you've never seen before. At least I hadn't. Look at that. Indian motorboats. Then you have an Indian sled up there. Look at that. It's a Davidson Wldr mine cart. This was found in an abandoned gold mine in California in 1970. This is of a 1926 Harley Davidson 21 CIB model. Oh my God. again, the ingenuity of people to make the application work for whatever they need it to. If you ask me, this might be one of the, probably somebody trying to do like a homemade, either barn equipment, farming. Because here you have this all will be for farming equipment here. So there's people using Harley engines, or whatever engine they could get a hold of, to go ahead and get it going. Look at that one over there. It's gonna be a Harley engine with a saw. This right here is even earlier. You can see that here's going to be a bicycle frame, and then they go ahead and they add this contraption over here to the side to go ahead and make your bicycle into a motorized. Here you have the small tank, here you have your fuel line. That might be, yep, there's a carburetor there. So, very ingenious.
Told you, sent to war. Harley Davidson sent their bikes to war with spare forks, with toolkits, with a spare engine. It's bloody Harley Davidson, they needed it, didn't it? You know, BSA, they didn't have to worry about it. And so what you will see is they...
Just say that.
You know, well, the beauty is that when your backs are against the wall and the country's at war, you can even manage to put the sidecar on the correct side of a motorbike. You know, how much credit could it be due? You know, that's it. But it's just phenomenal.
Smoking reefer already.
And of course, be aware of this. Harley Davidson overnight basically reverse engineered a complete BMW. If you remember when Pearl Harbor was mercilessly bombed on the 7th of December, it was a Sunday morning, the day of infamy, 1941, you will see that your government would immediately declare war on the Japanese. Within the next 6 days, the 11th of December 1941, you declare war on the Germans. The theatre of war for the Japanese was, of course, South Pacific and Asia. The theatre of war for the Germans wasn't just Europe, but also North Africa. The Harley Davidsons were not suited for desert warfare. The rear cylinder would be at the back and it would suffer from overheat. And of course the chain being exposed, it would actually get eaten by the Sahara grip. General Patton would order the capture of a couple of BMW dispatch rider bikes. And that is what you can see there. They basically reverse engineered the whole BMW. Indians take a slightly different view. Imagine getting that box out where you got the V there. You turn it 45 degrees, so you turn it 45 degrees, and then you've got basically the Motor Guzzi of Italy, and that's what that is. As soon as they teach you to ride, first thing they teach you is how to fall off. Old cavalry trick. As soon as you got down, you've now got a fire position. The thing about a horse is you haven't got 5 gallons of fuel sitting in front of your face.
That could be a problem.
Yeah, it could be a problem, yeah. So it's just truly amazing. But these bikes had to be strong enough. Now, because of Harley Davidson, over there, you see that man looking at the maroon bike. Harley Davidson actually built a bike for the New York City Police. They insisted that it had to be 74 cubic inch. Harley Davidson were building 80 cubic inch. It had to have a left-hand twist grip with a right-handed shifter. Harley Davidson was using the opposite way round, and they would have to have a toe to shift, heel to go, whereas Harley Davidson's clutch was heel to shift, toe to go. They didn't get the contract. So what did happen? They turned around and they learnt a valuable lesson. They had bowed down to the government, they had done exactly what they were asked, and they weren't given the contract. So when the government asked for a new motorbike for the impending war, they wanted 500cc. They wanted it capable of doing between 50 and 55 miles an hour all day, and they wanted it at 500cc 3-speed transmission. Now, Harley Davidson said, no, we're not doing it. We are building the DL, the RL, we are now on the WL, We're going to give you that for the same price as a 500, but that bike is a 750, and it's reliable, and it is fast, and it is better than what you're asking. And we will ask the price you're willing to give. And of course, what would happen? Harley Davidson would build between 65 and 75,000 WLAs. Indian would only get a small amount of the actual contract because they're gone and they built this 500cc Indian Scout. And be aware of this one, of course. This was a touring bike. 1, 2, 3 in them early days. You know what went in there, don't you?
36%.
No, oil?
Batteries.
Batteries?
Absolutely right.
Was this electric start?
No. This is
Oh, for the headlight?
no. The headlight was one with a Cecily. This was a battery ignition. So batteries. So you would go to the chemist and you would buy your batteries, and you. But this was a touring bike, so you have tail light and headlight run with acetylene, and you've got no generator, because in the early days these generators would draw power that you needed for the engine. So by just having a battery ignition, it made life easier. When the V-twin came along, you can see the magneto. Harley Davidson in 1911 would start getting enough power to run a small Bosch magneto or a generator.
How long would much distance could you go on a new set of batteries or fresh batteries?
I'm going to say maybe 200 miles, because of course I'm not 100% sure, but that would give you 600 miles if you had it.
Did they have a system to recharge batteries at that time or not? There would be a system, but the batteries were not.
So
you almost like a swap deal or something, they come in and swap it out?
You would have to buy your own batteries. So that's how it would go. These Americans, they just stand in the way, madam, don't you worry about it. Anyway, but yeah, it's phenomenal, because of course, when the Hindi Special came out in 1914, see, that's a 1915 Harley Davidson running there. So when the Henley Special came out in 1914, it actually had an electric start. But the Achilles heel of the electric start was the fact that the batteries were not good enough. So, you know, if you had a Henley Special today and you had kept it with the electric start, the batteries today are phenomenal. You know, you go to Interstate Batteries, you can basically get a battery, put it on your lawnmower, your tractor, your motorbike, and you don't touch it. And it'll last you 3 years, you know, without even doing any servicing. You don't. In the old days, you used to have to check to make sure you had acid and everything else like that. So technology has come a long way in some ways.
You remember that? Checking cells?
Yeah.
I'm getting old, but I
remember checking cells. I remember checking
cells. I remember checking cells.
I'm getting old, but I ain't that old. Thank you.
So this is Stanley Sieha's bike. In 1977, he completed a around the world trip on his 1977 Electra. And he was a captain in the US Marine Corps. Here is a map showing you his trip. Quite the trip, if you ask me. Here's an Ironbot Rally. This motorcycle right here completed 11,000 miles in 11 days. So the rider and the bike were put to the test. The guy knew safety. I also have Aero Stitch as well. So those jackets are extremely well made and durable. A little hot, but they're very good. Showing bikes. These were the bikes to have. These are very desirable. Look at this one. Like if it was going to go ahead and pop a wheelie, it's going to hold you from falling over. That was what? That was like a 6 or 7 speed bike. These are hard desirable because boys were known for destroying their bikes, so these bikes hold their value very well. This in 2003 Indian, one of their many times that they have been brought back. That's Gloria's struck. She logged 700,000 miles. Unbelievable. Don't be weary if you're handicapped or you need a wheelchair, they have a lift. I always love these old motors, these old race cars that will make. I mean, you can see there's going to be like a BMW engine. This might be the Harley engine that they use for the war. This might be one of the examples right here being used in a different application. But look at this. You literally have everything in between your legs. You're literally sandwiched in there. So, but look at the beauty of this. So you have the engine, you have the transmission, you have the rear differential. So they literally made the application work to be able to fit a shaft and everything. Unbelievable. This might be, let me see, let me just make sure I'm not telling you something it's not true. All right, yep, I'm right. So this right here will be one of the first examples, I would say, of a front drive engine. You have the motor right here, as you can see. Well, you can't really see it from there. Let me see, hold on. So here's the motor. Here's the motor, as you can see. And now, look at the chain. And look right here, in order to be able to power the wheels, both left and right. So this is a this is a Henderson 4-cylinder quarter midget car. So as you can see, literally you're gonna have less space on this one, on this Henderson, than you would have on the other one. But pretty ingenious. They were ahead of their time, that's for sure. (1939) Davidson Wldr. I mean, look how beautiful that is. Just like the newer bikes you still see out there. Here's the passenger seat. I'm guessing not very comfortable, but practical if you just need it. Look at that old vintage race sign. Talk about old over here, guys. First of all, look at the motorcycle. Now look at the helmet. There's going to be leather on the sides. That's a 1940 WLDR. The best part, let me see if it has the total charges here. $337 for this motorcycle. I'm pretty sure that can't be right. I can't really see, but I'm sure that's more than $334. So, having been to Barber Motorsports and now having been here to Wheels Through Time, they're both very unique for this reason that Barber pretty much has all types of bikes, and Wheels Through Time is going to be more tailored towards that American bike, the Indian, the Henderson, Harley Davidson, pretty much all American bikes, as well as one that are very obscure brands that you've never even heard. So if you're looking for pretty much all American, this will be the place, but you can't go wrong with either one. You can see the evolution of companies like Harley Davidson, like Indian. You're gonna see their evolution from just like the very beginning or early stages, and you're able to see how they slowly progress, how they make different engines, how they make different front ends, how they work on the suspension to pretty much be where they are today. So when you come to places like this, you're able to get a really good view and just a really good understanding of how companies work, how the engineering works, and you'll be really amazed at just everything that's involved with just running a company and just making sure that you have a product that's going to be bought. I mean, look at this one. This will be drag bikes right here. So when you see these drag bikes, look at the frame. These frames are going to be extended. You're going to have the lower handlebars. Basically, you're almost going to be laying flat across to be able to be more aerodynamic. A lot of it. This is a 1936 Harley Davidson's Highway Patrol. This will be for the state of California. I have to say, this is probably the best looking one I've seen. This looks like a what right here? Oh, that's a fire extinguisher. Very interesting design. Look at that. The way it's actually just perfectly made right there. Beautiful. I'm not sure what this is. That looks like a motorcycle trailer right there. It has to be a motorcycle trailer. Mid-engine car right here. Oh, there's Dale again. Oh, this is American Picker Special. I believe I watched that one too. American Pickers is another great show if you like. They love old vintage motorcycles.
Here we go. So this is a 1932 model being pulled. It wouldn't have come from Henry Ford in this condition. It would have had a flat head on it. This has been converted using a Morton and Beck conversion. This would mean that you would take the valves out of the engine and make this overhead valve conversion. It was called the Rocking Monkey or something because they said it looked like a monkey. Twin Winsford carburetors will produce about 100 to 120 brake horsepower back wheels. 3-speed crash gearbox, no foot brake, no roll bar, no seat belt. You've also got only a handbrake, a fuel pressure pump that you would have to pump while you're going around periodically, and of course, great for the English because we could put our afternoon cup of tea there and it would stay hot all day. But for you Americans who like everything freezing cold, including your fizzy beer, it was terrible. Now, of course, I have to just tell this gentleman because he's from Kentucky. the English hadn't invented GPSs, so you Americans had to ride around in circles because the only other direction was go west, young man, go west. So we did. But it was just truly courageous because, of course, these longer circuits, you can actually extend the wheelbase of these cars to give it more stability when you're racing a mile circuit. Just truly amazing. The technology is just really very, very advanced for 1932. Remember, this is in the middle of the Depression, and of course, the big hope for the Americans was that wonderful little horse Seabiscuit that was taking on war. It's true. It's true. You know, that was the horse, the underdog, and this was the only thing that would actually be of interest. The radios when a war horse, sorry, the Seabiscuit took on war animal, and he oh yeah, and it was truly amazing. And so this racing is actually a way of keeping hope and courage alive for some people. And of course, down the south, people said that they didn't even know there was a depression going on because they were already living below the poverty line. And even today, I've met people who will enjoy catching a groundhog, feeding them with corn and having them for a lunch because their fathers. You make it sound a little greasy. Yeah, but that's what they do. Do what? That's right. It'll be worth. It will be worth some money. No, but the thing is, some of these grandchildren or their grandparents fed groundhogs, and that's how they would, you know, they would still enjoy it as a cuisine.
All right, guys, so that's it for today. So that was Wheels Through Time. If you are in the area, if you love motorcycles, if you love Americana, if you love vintage, this is going to be the place for you. All types of Harleys, all types of Indians, rare motorcycles, rare cars. Guys, this is a beautiful place. So guys, if you're enjoying the content, give it a thumbs up, share, like, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time.